Merry meet. Annie here. Welcome back to Tarot Together. I will put in front of you a copy of the Rider-Waite Fool card. Now let's explore the symbols that are part of that card.
Let's move on now to the Fool himself. Oh, we'll get back to more of the background, all the rest of that beautiful scenery in the card, but let's look to the Fool now. Let's start out by looking at his body language. His posture is open and upward facing. He's looking up and into that yellow sky that we mentioned previously. He's facing northwest, based on the direction of the sun behind him, the direction of the unknown. He's looking northwards, the direction of initiation. He's looking away from the sun, and we know how important the sun is to the card. Is it because he's ignoring it? Is he being silly and foolish? Or is it because he's already enlightened? That meaning can differ according to the cards that are around the Fool in a reading. But it can also serve powerfully to remind us that at the same time that he is foolish and ignorant in a way, naive and innocent in the world, he's also already been on this journey again, because we're going to discover that the symbols on this card also inform the fact he's been here before. The Fool's journey is a cycle. He's circling. He feels that sun at his back as he looks forward. Look at his facial expression. He's joyful. He's not looking at anything in particular, unless he's looking up and into that yellow sky. He's also walking towards the left of the card. Traditionally, the left of the card holds the symbolism of the yin, the female side. It's the area of intuition rather than fact. Waite, when he described the body language of the Fool, referred to his light step, looking upward and now downward, as if there is nothing in the earth and its trammels to restrain him and hold him back. He looks to the sky and not to the depths. He also refers to his act of eager walking indicated, but that he is currently paused. Where that led me to think is that he's come from someplace. There's been a journey leading to this moment, even though he might be leaving it behind. And we'd also referred to his face as full of intelligence and expectant dreams, linking him to the power of that yellow sky and insight and intelligence. Let's take a look at his tunic, the star symbol that is on it, the 8-spoked wheel. It's the cycle of cosmic expression, the year, the passing of time. Those of us who celebrate the 8 esbats know of the year divided into 8 seasonal celebrations. 8 is also the symbol of infinity, the lemniscate, the caduceus, the eternal spiral and regeneration. I found a great explanation also in Ruth and Wald Amberstone's The Secret Language of the Tarot for the power of this 8-pointed star. You can tell their book meant a lot to me. They refer to it as the Star of Spirit. They explain it that they represent the 7 levels of the ladder to perfection. Those 7 align to the 7 known planets of the ancient times. The 8th level, completing the 8-pointed star, is perfection. The 7 known planets in ancient times were known as the Wanderers. It feels wonderfully Fool-like. They refer to The simple lesson of the eight-pointed star is the feeling of beauty and perfection that rewards the completion of an inner journey. The power, I would say, of spiritual wandering. In Jungian psychology, the eight-spoked wheel is a symbol of the self, self-centered in a good way. The opportunity to explore and go deeply within self. Notice there are 7 green leaves around each of the 8-pointed stars. They might, as some authors suggest, correspond to the 7 chakras or energy centers. Maybe aligned to the power of the number 7 in this card. They might again be a connection to the symbolic meanings of this number 7 and how the earth, the greenery represented by the leaves, connects us to the power of mystery and to the divine experience of living. Note the red inner sleeves to his tunic. Red, traditionally a color of passion and energy. It expresses activity and movement, the power of instincts and desires, everything that's an outward-oriented action, movement, outwardly, forwardly. Notice the white of his undershirt. White, traditionally a color of purity and innocence. Unlike that red energy of outward-oriented, definite activity and movement, white represents an idealistic action or remoteness from practical reality. Red and white, a powerful combination of action and idealism. Look at his belt. There are 7 circles on that belt. It is said by some representing the 7 planets known in ancient times. But the way they're spaced across his belt, actually, the other planets could be out of sight. Look at his boots. They're yellow. They're connected to that power of yellow that we've talked about in the sky, that the Fool intellectually, remember yellow is insight and intelligence, that he intellectually understands the need to be grounded in his physical experience. He's not just walking, he is truly experiencing and understanding the value in his walking. Yellow, again, as the highest level of consciousness, brings to his boots the shade of meaning and power to the journey, that there is a reason behind the steps that he takes. Take a look at the laurel wreath upon his head, an age-old symbol of victory. It could mean he's indeed achieved enlightenment, and he's beginning a new cycle after completing that previous cycle of enlightenment. It's also a symbol of protection, peace, and purification, something he takes with him on the journey. Perhaps a message that the favor of the gods is upon his journey. We don't walk alone. The feather that comes out of his laurel wreath. Feathers show up regularly throughout the tarot. They shift in color and location and the direction, the positioning of the feather. Some say that this red coloring on this feather is the fire at the crown of the Fool, which connects him to the fire of the sun, divine fire moving from above to below. Traditionally, the feather is said to be an eagle feather. That makes sense because of the eagle's relationship to the sun, and also because the eagle shows up elsewhere on the card. I'm not so sure about red, though, as the fire at the crown connecting him to the sun, because we're talking about the white sun here. We're talking about the spiritual sun. Divine fire would be more white than red. But red is also, similar to aspects of yellow, a color of consciousness and will, the power to make choice and determine our way forward. That, to me, is a better association of the color red to the feather in the Fool's wreath. I also like something I read that some suggest that the feather in the Fool's cap is from the phoenix, celebrating rebirth. It lends more power to the concept that the Fool has come this way before, and he is moving through and rising up from once again. The phoenix in mythology has a lot of connection that is very similar to the eagle in their relationship to the sun, transformation, and rising again. Let's take a look at the Fool's wand. He carries it over his shoulder. It appears to be rather casually. It doesn't look heavy. He's holding it with a light hand. But the wand itself is a symbol of power. The magician and the chariot driver also have wands, but they're holding them very securely, with intent. You can almost feel the grip of their fingers around it. The Fool and the World Dancer also have wands, both holding them lightly, with no concern or need to grip onto them firmly. The wand is there in the Fool's hands, but it's not the focus of his actions. It's like he carries it with him. It might come in handy. It's carrying perhaps something that's important at the wallet at its end, but it's not his focus. He did, though, think to take it with him. The power of the wand as a symbol is a symbol of will, self-direction action through which we make decisions and we decide our way forward. So interesting that he's holding it so lightly, perhaps because he is experiencing life and letting it take him where it will, but he always has, literally in his hand, the power to make choices and to determine his way forward. Wands are also symbolically a channel for spirit, creative energy, and power. The power of that yellow in the sky and the white in the sun, and a way to earth it, to bring it to earth. Notice the color of the wand, which is black. Wands show up on other cards, and they're white. For the Fool, though, who's not intentionally connected to the power of that wand, the black indicates what's always there, but he's not at the moment consciously directing it. Black, as a color, equals all things possible. Everything that exists before it becomes, before there's any boundaries which define it. It's hidden forces available to be put in action. We also think of the wand as a staff, a measuring tool, in which case it's the pause that the Fool takes to consider before taking actions as he goes forward. We referred to it as the costly wand. Okay, we could look at costly, that it's expensive, but couldn't we also look at costly, that that wand that the Fool is holding, assuming he's been this way before, has some hard-won energy to it? And the wand as the bindle stiff. I love this word. It was a new one for me, and I really wish I remembered what book I saw this in. The bindle stiff is the stick that a hobo carries, at which at the end is attached everything that matters to the hobo, which, powerfully, is very little. At the end of the fool's bindlestiff, his staff, is what's called the wallet. That's the satchel tied to the end of it. All kinds of possibilities from different tarotists on what the wallet represents, the mystery of what it holds. Some say it contains memory, not just memory of the mundane, but a universal memory, memory of things greater beyond the fool. Instinct, some sense of direction, wisdom, knowledge attained in the journey the last time or other times round. It's also possible the four symbols of the elements are within that wallet. They do show up on the magician's table in the next card. Either way, he holds it lightly, it's not heavy. He appears to be taking with him the minimum of what he needs. Whatever is in that wallet is important enough to be with him, but he carries it lightly. It's intriguing to consider that the wallet is his collective consciousness connection to the past, the present, and the future. His relationship to the number 0, which we will speak to, aligns to that. What was, what is, and what will be, and what will be again and again. We describe the wallet as inscribed with dim signs to show that many subconscious memories are stored in the soul. The fool's carrying whatever it is that's in that wallet. He's not overly worried about it. He carries it with a light hand. They're not controlling him in the moment, but they're important enough that he will not leave them behind. Hajo Banshaf, in his book Tarot and the Journey of the Hero, quotes Sheldon Kopp. And he says, Kopp was a psychotherapist and author who used tarot into explorations into aspects of the psyche. He referred to the wallet as the wallet of unused knowledge. And that got me to think what the fool has but is not used, whether knowledge he has previously gained or that is not yet known to him. No preconceptions or prejudice. Everything is possible. It's a consideration that knowledge can be limiting, and a possible comment or advisory on the end of the fool's journey, as there is no end. Everything goes back into his wallet, and he starts all over again with the small and the large things. Irene Gadd, in Tarot and Individuation, mentions that the root to the word fool is folus, which means bag full of wind. Limitless realm of the inconceivable, and that which does not exist at the physical level. I love the imagery of looking at the wallet at the end of the fool's staff as the limitless realm of the inconceivable. He's walking the physical world joyfully, carrying an infinity of possibilities within his bag full of wind. On his wallet is painted or embroidered an eagle's head. We referred to that as to dream of an eagle in a high place is good for those who are starting on some great undertaking. The eagle is a symbol of the sun and life and vigor and virile strength. White eagles symbolize the soul. Black eagles, the soul that's darkened through incarnation. What's it look like to you? It looks to me like the eagle on the fool's wallet is one that earned its way onto it through his previous incarnations. A stamp, you might say. indicating that he's been this way before. The eagle as a bird of day and night represents self-renewal. Again, eagle aligned to the phoenix and everything which rises again.
I look forward to your additions, differing opinions, especially what you can share that I simply did not know about the symbols on the cards. Selfishly, I started this series because I wanted to learn and grow. And that will be thanks to the comments that you offer to the discussion. As always, comments are welcome below, and they're welcome on our Facebook group. There's links at the end of this video.